You've stretched and you've stretched, but that hamstring doesn't seem to be releasing at all. Hey everyone, it's Dr. Heather here, and as a sports chiropractor, that is one of the things that I see commonly is, hey, I have tight hamstrings, how can I stretch it out and what can I do? Okay, well, there's a few things we need to address before you start actually stretching out that hamstring. And one of those things we want to address is if you have an anterior or a posterior tilt. And you're probably like, well, okay, what does that actually mean? So let's kind of go over it in a very basic, very simplistic kind of way. So everybody knows Kim Kardashian, and you know she has quite the lovely derriere. That would be butt. So if you have a butt that kind of sticks out more in terms of, you notice how I just kind of rocked my pelvis, forward here, allowing for my butt to stick out more. What that means is it means I have more of an anterior tilt, and you can see that my pelvis starts to kind of dive down, all right? So if you have more of that Kim Kardashian butt, where it sticks out a little bit more, you may be susceptible to a little bit more anterior tilt. Now, say you're somebody who actually is like, well, I don't think I have that. I think I have the opposite. That's known as a posterior tilt, where that butt kind of tucks under. And you might notice also too that you're somebody who's more rounded, kind of in the shoulders up top. Okay, so now once we've established which one those are, or which one you have rather, then we can determine if actually stretching the hamstring is going to be the right protocol for you. So now, if you do have that Kim Kardashian kind of butt where that pelvis kind of sticks out a little bit more and that anterior tilt is present, you actually want to go ahead and check out my hip flexor video, because you're going to want to pay more attention to your hip flexors, your psoas and your iliopsoas, more so than the hamstring, because that's how you're going to actually feel more relief, is from doing some stuff to the hip flexors themselves. So I've left the link up top. Go ahead, check it out, and just kind of stop this video, head over to the hip flexor video. You're going to get more answers there. Now, if you do have that posterior tilt, stay on this video, because we're going to kind of now address some of the things that are going to go into really stretching out the hamstring. So one of the things that I address when we talk about the hamstring prior to stretching it out is we want to look at the soft tissue release first. So we want to actually strip out the muscle first. And if you haven't already, click over to my myofascial course, where we actually go head to toe. We look at the whole entire body. It's designed around how to really utilize the foam roller, how to really utilize a massage ball to break down the tissue and then take it a step further. So do go ahead, check out the course for more in-depth information. But now let's kind of address the stretches that you can do to really release that hamstring. So the first stretch we want to look at is also going to play into a little bit of ankle mobility. So what we're going to do first is we're going to come over to a very stable object. We're going to place the heel of the foot right up against something. Now, if you also have tight calves, you're probably going to feel this stretch a lot too in the calves as well. So from here, I'm just going to actually grab onto the pole. I'm going to push my hips actually forward, elongating my body up nice and tall. So I'm going to first feel a nice stretch in my calf. All right, so from here, then what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually kind of give like a little bit of a lunge stance. Notice that I leave this leg nice and straight. From here, I'm actually going to now push my pelvis out behind, take my arms, really kind of stretch them up towards the object, and I'm just going to hold here. And again, if my hamstrings are really tight, I'm going to feel that stretch all along the back wall of my hamstring, and I'm just going to hang out here. Now, if you're somebody who's like, okay, I feel it, but I actually want to take it a step further, the next thing would be is to go ahead and put the leg up on a higher surface. So this is where you're going to look to the video that I had done more for the ultra runners, the half marathon runners, and the marathon runners, where we look at now taking our leg and placing it up on a higher surface and really kind of starting to stretch it out further. So if I was going to go ahead and put my leg all the way up here, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take the leg, place it up nice and high. So now what I'm going ahead and doing is I'm allowing for a really strong stretch in my hamstring. isolating pretty much from behind the knee all the way down towards that sits bone. Notice actually too, I'm standing up nice and tall. I'm going to still bring the toes towards my head, because again, when you have a tight hamstring in that posterior tilt, you're actually going to want to address the calf as well, because that's going to be super important here too. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull the toes towards you here. So those are really two great hamstring stretches that you can do. But again, if you have an anterior tilt, you're going to want to actually address your hip flexors. So like I said, head over to the hip flexor video. And if you have a posterior tilt, you're going to want to start addressing your hamstring and stretching it out. Those are two basic stretches you can do. For more stretches, check out my ultra running stretching, which actually goes into a few more for you guys as well. Now, if you have questions regarding which one you have in terms of anterior or posterior tilt, as always, I offer a free consult to all of my athletes out there, to all of my subscribers. So take full advantage of that as well. And if you want to go ahead and go more in depth in your myofascial release, head over to the course that's on myofascial. And as always, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as always. All right, so now if you have tight hamstrings, again, we want to address your calves. So let's head over to the calf video.